Does Cam deserve all the blame for the team's struggles?
Yes, he does. He lost the game. He lost the game. He's the quarterback. They were running the football effectively. Their defense kept them in the game. Cam Newton had the ball in his hands with the game on the line, and he fumbled it away. You sweep left, but you've got the ball in your right hand. That's not smart. I mean, you could sit up there and make the argument that Josh McDaniel or Bill Belichick should have changed the formation and had him running right instead of left, knowing that he continuously keeps the ball in his right hand. But this is not a novice. This is not a rookie. Cam Newton has been in the National Football League for 10 years. Cam Newton knows better than holding the ball in his right hand if you're running right. That's just not a smart thing to do. Yet and still, he's done it throughout his career. He's never changed or modified that habit to any degree. And as a result, it cost them a game yesterday and a season as far as I'm concerned, because the New England Patriots, as far as I'm concerned, their season is over. They're not coming back from a 3.5 game deficit in the AFC East to the Buffalo Bills. I don't see that happening. By the way, the Miami Dolphins are looking good. We'll talk about Tua Tagovailoa later. But in terms of what they do collectively, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, the Miami Dolphins, led by GM Chris Greer, led by Coach Brian Flores, two African Americans, I might add, they are coming. And so when I look at the AFC East, dare I say the New England Patriots are the third best team in the division because they're obviously ahead of a team that doesn't belong in the football league as far as I'm concerned, because the Jets are horrid. They're disgusting to watch. They're just an abomination, and Adam Gase should be fired. But that's a story for another segment or another day. In the end, what it comes down to is that the New England Patriots had the game in their hands. Cam Newton could have finished the deal, and he didn't. And it wasn't like he was that great throwing the football, complete 15 of the 25 passes and what have you. It wasn't anything to write home about other than the fact that he wasn't as god-awful as he was the week before. So I'm looking at a guy in Cam Newton. You could talk about COVID-19, the residual impact and effects of that, because before that he was playing well and what have you, but he just doesn't look on it right now. And even though he looked considerably better yesterday, it still wasn't good enough. And hearing him talk in the post game about how he's got to cut down on the mistakes and everything, it does get to a point where you say, yeah, you need to. You need to be more accurate. You need to be more crisp. You got to protect the football. You can't turn the ball over. You got to exercise fundamentals and stuff like that. He's talking a much better game than he's playing. And I think that by the time he gets the ship righted, it's going to be entirely too late, because personally, I think it's too late already. Of course, I'm putting this on Cam.
I respect everything you said. I think those are all good points. I can't disagree with them, but I can't put all the blame on Cam. What you can say is it never went off the rails when Tom Brady was quarterback. That's right. I'm praising Tom Brady. I have called him the GOAT for over a decade now. But it's
so
never,
is everybody else breathing.
You only called him the GOAT.
But it never went off the rails with Brady, and that's leadership. And Cam has not shown the same kind of leadership in terms of the standard that Tom Brady set. That is true. Does that mean it's all Cam's fault that they lost? Cam also fumbled the ball, and you point out why, Stephen A., and that's inexcusable, but they weren't winning the game at the time. It's tough to say a quarterback has to make a heroic comeback, and if he doesn't make that heroic comeback, it's all his fault that they lost. Let me remind you who's not on the team right now. The COVID opt-outs, Patrick Chung, Dante Hightower, right? The defense is not what it used to be. Who else was? Gilmore wasn't available. Edelman didn't play. Even N'Keal Harry and Sony Michel, who you could call, if not draft busts, at least guys who, there are lots of guys picked after them that are a lot better than them. And so Belichick could have done a better job there, but they also were not available. Like, he did not have a team. If we're going to say Brady didn't have a team last year, oh my God, it's Brady's team last year minus the defense and any offensive weapons that Brady had, right? It's minus that. And yet Cam is expected to beat the best team in the division, maybe, at least by record, right? And because he doesn't complete a great comeback against the best team in the division with much less than Brady had last year even, it's all his fault. That's tough. It's tough to make that argument. I can say he's not leading up, in spite of the very good kind of stuff he's saying after the game. He's accepting responsibility. He's being accountable. And he's not doing it in a way that looks forced or fake. It seems like he's internalized it. And nevertheless, what you can say is, hey, The Patriots have gone off the rails, and come hell or high water with Brady, they never did. Cam, you got to get it together and figure out how to win a couple of those close ones. Punch it in against Seattle. Don't turn it over against Buffalo. And all of a sudden, we're having a very different conversation, right? 2 more wins against teams like that. And we're like, wow, what a great season Cam's having. It really does come down to those kind of moments that Brady seemed to always get right and Cam is not getting right. That's different than saying this is all Cam's fault.
I think it's the coaching. I think yesterday's loss has to do with the coaching in New England. And I can point to 3 perfect examples. First of all, we've always talked when it comes to penalties on football teams. We always say, like, it points back to coaching. I remember sitting here last year talking about the Browns with Freddie Kitchens and going, points back to coaching. Going into yesterday's game, the Patriots were the best when it came to the NFL in regards to penalties. Least penalized team in the NFL. Their first 4 drives on offense got into 2nd and 20 or 3rd and 15 plus because of penalties. That usually falls upon how ready your team is to play. Their first 4 drives had 2nd and 20 or 3rd and 15 plus. They're not built to go execute that. That has to fall on some of the coaching. Number 2, when you look at like the style of defense that they were playing, Buffalo just kept running to the weak side of their formation because New England kept putting a safety down there to defend against the run. There was never any adjustment. They just kept getting yards towards number 21, Adrian Phillips, running the football right at him. New England never adjusts. The king of adjustments never adjusted. That has nothing to do with Cam Newton. You've got the penalties, you've got the lack of adjustment, and then go watch the first drive of the 3rd quarter for Buffalo and tell me that football team looks ready to come out in the second half. They go like 3 or 4 plays. Stephon Diggs catches like a 5-yard catch and turns it into a 40-yard gain because there's a lack of people running after the football. He carries the pile like 6 or 7 yards. And then the next play, they run a Zach Moss. Buffalo runs Zach Moss, and the pile gets pushed into the end zone. That's not on Cam Newton.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.